I'm about to destroy my copy of Persona Q with well over 80 hours of gameplay. Why? Because Atlus told me to. You see, all the way back in 2014, I bought Persona Q for the 3DS on a whim shortly after it came out, simply because I thought the cover looked kinda cool. Sadly though, I never actually got around to playing it until after I finished Personas 4, 5, and 3 in that order. However, after about 70 hours of gameplay, the game just started randomly freezing on me, mostly during cutscenes, but occasionally during battles as well. And ordinarily, I'd just move on to another game entirely if something like this happened, but after putting so many hours into it and being so close to the end, I decided to just keep trucking along. Since the game had been playing just fine for so long, I kinda figured that it'd be smooth sailing if I could just get past the specific part that was giving me trouble. And I knew that it was possible to get past the part in question, because even though it froze 3 times in a row during a lengthy post-boss battle cutscene, it never froze in the exact same part. So even though it sucked horse noodles repeating the same 30-minute best friends boss battle, I wasn't about to throw 70 hours away. Thankfully it worked, but then the game kept freezing, mostly during cutscenes, but occasionally during battles as well, albeit not as often as it was before. But still though, the problem never went away nonetheless, so I decided to see if Atlus could help me out here, even though the game's pretty old at this point. But in a last-ditch effort, I decided to try and squeeze past the finish line just in case Atlus never replied to me. So I grinded like hell to where I could beat the Reaper no problem and breeze through the final boss, but since I knew there'd be an assload of cutscenes, I skipped through them all to help soften the blow to the 3DS with the intentions of just watching the cutscenes later on YouTube. Pretty lame, I know, but again, I was 80 hours in at this point. That's not even counting all the hours I lost from the game freezing, so I figured, what the hell. And even though the last 2 bosses didn't really give me all that much trouble since I grinded so much, they still took me over 40 minutes to beat, and then the game froze right away. So then I beat the final boss again, and you guessed it, it froze right away. So naturally, I was over it at this point, but then Atlus finally responded to my email and gave me hope. And like, yeah, I know I already beat the game twice, and there was no shame in watching the cutscene on YouTube and calling it a day, seeing as how I actually did beat the final boss. But now that Atlus was here to save the day, surely I could get the satisfaction of seeing that New Game Plus on my file to validate my achievement. But obviously this could be a scam, so understandably Atlus had to grill me a little bit.
I'll ask you the standard question. You know?
Standard question.
First, I wanted to see pictures of the cartridge front and back, along with the error message, which makes perfect sense so far. I mean, it's not like they asked to hear the cartridge voice over the phone to make sure it was okay or anything like that. But seeing as how I couldn't provide my proof of purchase after all these years, I figured this might not go as smoothly as I planned, so let's go ahead and read the reply. Dear Cameron, that's me. Typically for a case such as yours, we would have requested for you to send us your game card to be analyzed. However, our team are still unable to return to the office to process your request in the usual manner. Well, that's understandable. I mean, we are in the middle of a global pandemic after all. To solve your issue in a more immediate way, we politely ask if you can confirm the following. Do you have access to the internet and Nintendo eShop with your Nintendo 3DS? Yes. Do you have a Nintendo Network account? Yes. What region is your Nintendo Network account?
Yes! 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 Oh, yes!
If you do have a Nintendo Network account and have access to the internet and eShop with your Nintendo 3DS, we will be able to provide you with a digital download code. Cool beans. Wait a tick. For this, we ask that you destroy your original Persona Q game card and send us an image of the destroyed game card front and back.
I think this is fake.
You think it's fake? What's that? Is that fake? Huh? What the hell's wrong with you? That's open hand slap, huh? You think it's fake?
So you mean to tell me that the United States government didn't have to show pictures of Osama bin Laden's body after his death, but I've got to show Atlus pictures of a destroyed cartridge of a game from 2014 for a $10 download code? Granted, the game is $20 at this exact moment, but I've seen it on sale for $10 on more than one occasion, so if you ask me, this is pretty petty. I mean, imagine if you ordered a pizza and noticed that instead of sausage, it had actual human turds on it when you opened the box. But after sending a picture of it to Papa John's, they're like, well, we're sorry to hear that this happened to you, and we'd be glad to send you a coupon for a free pizza, but first you've got to send us a picture of the pizza disintegrating in a vat of acid so we know you're not trying to pull a fast one on us. I mean, how many times have you gotten the wrong food at a restaurant, and when you try to give them the old order back, they're just like, nah, keep it, we're good. To be fair, I totally understand that they shouldn't just give download codes away over email willy-nilly and make it a free-for-all, but like, it's a $10 to $20 3DS game from 2014, so even though I know I'm not the only one who had this problem with Persona Q, I can't imagine that anybody besides me tried emailing Atlus over during the pandemic. You know, the cartridge is legitimately botched, and even though they warned me in the email that destroying it would result in me losing my save data, the game actually lets you save to the SD card as a precaution, which I'm sure Mitchell here didn't know about, so frig it, let's destroy the cartridge. I mean, sure, I could just print a crappy label off and put it on some random 3DS game like Frogger and send blurry photos, but it's not like I want a broken Persona Q cartridge anyway, and even though I could probably sell it on eBay to some collector who's most likely never gonna play the game for long enough to see the glitches and then just kinda let the cartridge sit on the shelf for all eternity and collect dust, I'm not a big enough scumbag to do that to anybody, so there's really no good reason why I shouldn't destroy this cartridge. Hell, Atlus was even kind enough to give me instructions on how to do it with scissors. Man, I was planning on something a little more extravagant, like tying it up and leaving it on a railroad track while I twirl a fake mustache, but scissors work just fine. You know, with a decent enough lawyer, I'm pretty sure I could sue like hell if I ended up cutting myself, but I'm just gonna die alone anyway, so let's go get that download code. 3, 2, 1, this isn't working. This doesn't work. Oh, we did it! It's actually not bad. There, it's done. Now we wait. Actually, you know, I could just take pictures of this cartridge in multiple locations and get a few free copies just to show Atlus how this absurd method's still flawed, but they have made some of my all-time favorite games, so I suppose I'll show some restraint and await my download code. I mean, after all, that way I can show you guys what happens to Persona Q's hero in the ending.
Update! Apparently nobody gives a shit, so fuck 'em!
Oh. Well, if you're still here, then make sure to subscribe and hit the bell for more games, goofs, and glory. And if you liked this video, then you might like my video about why Atlus snubbed Persona 3 on Steam after putting Persona 4 on there. But if you'll excuse me, I gotta go take a shit dump. Later.
So I want to say thank you to your loyalty, thank you for your support.